That's why this game is so important. VCU a half game ahead of the St. Louis Billikens. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Pete Gillen. During his coaching years at Xavier, he won 5 different regular season titles. And Pete, tonight's ball game can go a long way in deciding who wins the A-10 regular season.
This is the biggest game so far in the A-10. Biggest game, I think, in the history of Chaffetz Arena, which opened in 2008. St. Louis already beat New Mexico, number 20. They also beat Butler, number 9, here in this building. This game is bigger. Why? Because first place in A-10 is at stake. And it's 2 great teams. Whoever wins this has a great chance to win the regular season A-10 title. All
right, so these 2 teams are coming in streaking so far. Small one for VCU, but earlier this year, they won 13 consecutive games. Look at the turnovers they forced during the 5-game winning streak. Meanwhile, for St. Louis, they've been absolutely dominant. They've won 7 consecutive games. Now, with all that said, it's time to take a look at our Buffalo Wild Wings eye tracker. And Pete, break down what these 2 teams do exceptionally well.
VCU is famous for their full-court defense. They also do a tremendous job on the half-court defense. They anticipate very well. They have active hands. They play the lanes. They get tremendous offense off their defense. They block shots. They get out in transition. They really push it. They go. They get tremendous offense off their fabulous defense. Now, St. Louis is the best defensive team in the A-10, holding their opponents to 58 points a game. They really deny the Wings very well. Jordan Jet leads the team in steals, gets out in transition. He loves to finish. 2 great defensive teams in action tonight.
Jordan Jet has played exceptionally well for the Billikens during this 7-game winning streak. It's VCU and Shaka Smart, 7-1 on the road so far, venturing into St. Louis to take on Jim Cruz and the Billikens. The tip is next.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Icy Hot, America's #1 topical pain reliever. And by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
It's a busy night downtown St. Louis. The Blues are home to take on the Sharks. Here, SLU takes on VCU. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. We'll begin with the number 24 ranked VCU Rams. And this is a very talented starting 5. They go very deep on the bench. It's a 3-guard rotation. Darius Theus is the guy at the end of the game. But these 2 guys are probably the most important pieces for VCU. Javante Reddick and Travion Graham. Meanwhile, for St. Louis, they're balanced across the board. Kwame Mitchell and Mike McCall, 2 very talented backcourt mates. They'll play important roles tonight. Dwayne Evans is averaging over 15 points per game during this 7-game winning streak for the Billikens. Jim Cruz, the interim head coach for St. Louis. He took over this year when Rick Majerus fell ill and then eventually passed away. He has 373 career wins. He's led the Billikens to 19 wins this year. And one of the more talented young coaches in all of college basketball, Shaka Smart, in his 4th year, has won 105 games. DJ Karstensen is at center court, and we are underway. And the Billikens, in front of a sold-out crowd, calling themselves the Billiken Blue Out. They get possession to start the ball game. Man-to-man defense for VCU. Probably see that most of the night, Pete, right?
Definitely.
Here's Evans' first shot of the game, and he's been red hot, and he's off on a good note.
Nice pass by Rob Lowe.
DJ Karstensen, the referee, John Gaffney, and Bo Borowski, the other 2 officials. They play a big role in these kind of games.
Both teams are very physical. VCU in their full-court pressure, and St. Louis in their half-court man-to-man.
VCU averaging over 78 points per game, tops in the Atlantic 10. St. Louis, meanwhile, best defense in the Atlantic 10 per game. Shot clock at 5, spinning move by Graham, and he'll go to the free throw line as Glaze is called for his first personal foul. This is what we're talking about. Something's got to give for these 2 teams.
Exactly. VCU, the best offensive team, 8-10-78. St. Louis, best defensive team, 58. So something's got to give tonight.
Both among the leaders in college basketball, as you see. Travion Graham averaging 16 a game. This is the first free throw. He's usually a 73% free throw shooter. Just a sophomore. And you see his numbers, 5th in the Atlantic 10. This kid's really come of age, hasn't he?
Tremendous play at time.
So he makes one, misses one, and VCU's on the move.
Full court, man-to-man pressure. They're going to try to trap if they can. Usually with Daniels, who's on the ball. Let them get him.
Tremaine Mitchell and Mike McCall are going to be pressured, no doubt. And they break the press. Here's Evans into the paint. Nice athletic move. Stayed with his right hand and laid it in. This is what you have to do, though, for St. Louis. You have to get back defensively because VCU is not going to wait. Here's Reddick with his runner. No good. Graham with the rebound. He's caught in the paint. Finally gets out. Lee Daniels open for three. It's good. Troy Daniels, who needs just 2 3-pointers now to break his own record for most threes in a season at VCU.
He gets hot, Tom. Forget about it. He's really a heck of a streaky shooter.
Well, you see he's averaging just under 4 threes per game. Mike McCall directing traffic. McCall filled in very nicely for Mitchell when Mitchell was injured earlier this year. Here's Lowe. He's been more aggressive this year. Shot no good. And the foul called underneath. And that'll go against Daniels. It's his first, team's first. Last time Shaka Smart's team was here in St. Louis was the CBI Invitational. And they won that right before the Final Four year. The ball is out of bounds. It will remain St. Louis ball with a fresh 35.
Tom, the battle on the glass is going to be ferocious. Both these teams are really, really physical, and they play clean, but very hard, very aggressive.
Well, it's one of the differences defensively for St. Louis under Jim Cruz, and there is a timeout called by St. Louis. Is their aggressiveness on the defensive end, which enables them to pick up some steals. Let's take a look at our AT&T Fast Analysis, Pete. It's so important for these two teams to do these things.
Well, great job. Both these teams are extremely aggressive. Now for VCU, speed up the tempo, faster the better, knock down 3-pointers. For St. Louis, get points off the turnovers and pound the ball inside. It can really hurt VCU inside.
Now when you say pound the ball inside, Evans is a key inside. Remikin when he comes off the bench with offensive boards, things like that.
Also Lowe. Lowe is outside, but he also can score inside. He's gotten more aggressive lately, so we'll see what happens. But both these teams are very talented, very deep.
Well, we said it was a Billiken Blue out here at Chaffetz Arena, and the students have been here for quite some time, getting themselves primed and ready to go for this ball game. This is a beautiful facility, Chaffetz Arena. It cost a little more than $86 million to build, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Mr. Chaffetz is right next to you, Tom. We might have to say hello to him. See how he likes us so far.
Yep, we see him from time to time when we come here to watch. There he is with the glasses. He's kind of shielded right there.
Yep.
And the inbounds goes to Lowe, who goes right back to Tremaine Mitchell. Hand-checking foul on Daniels. He's going to have to sit. That's his second personal foul. Now that's going to take a 3-point weapon off the floor for VCU, but they are a very deep team, and they're going to bring in Briante Weber, who is as talented a defender as you will see in the Atlantic 10.
As you say, they're missing now a tremendous 3-point shooter. They're bringing in an excellent defensive player, so we'll see what happens. But Daniels is a guy that can get hot and take over the game, so it's a big loss for the Rams early in the game.
So Daniels sits. He has one made three already. VCU with a half-game lead in the Atlantic 10 standings with 6 games to play, counting this one. The battle down low between Glaze and Graham. Loose ball picked up by VCU, then picked back up by St. Louis. Here's Glaze. Well, they said today that he was going to be important for St. Louis. Here's Brandenburg, his runner no good. Rebound is loose. Reddick has it, and a fresh 35 for VCU.
Glaze, as you know, Tom, started the last 7 games. They've won all 7. So put him in for aggressiveness and toughness and grit. That's what he gives the Billikens.
He kind of clogs up the middle. He's sort of he's kind of like a roadblock in the paint.
Looks like an outside linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Here's Theus, who looked like he picked up his pivot foot. Reddick in the paint, ball knocked away, gets it back, loose ball, and Mike McCall has it. In transition with Mitchell, goes right up and he draws the foul. Weber called for the foul. McCall to the free throw line. Now everybody for St. Louis, and it depends a lot of times on the opponent, but most times they'll have everybody go back defensively while their guy shoots free throws.
Well, certainly has pluses, but I like to have one guy in the line. Just so in case of a long rebound, you might get lucky. But Coach Cruz is a fabulous coach, so you got to go with your philosophy. So everybody's set. They're famous for their half-court man-to-man D. So everybody's all set but the shooter, so it certainly has a lot of benefits. But I like to have one guy there because you might get lucky and get a long rebound.
Saw the freshman Melvin Johnson, the true freshman, come in for Brandenburg. You see the three Billikens back. Lays now comes up, and he is along the line, but it doesn't matter because McCall made both free throws. The numbers early on, VCU wants to take more shots than their opponent. They've taken 2 less so far in the early going.
Great half-court man-to-man D by the Billikens so far.
Here's Johnson. Ooh, Reddick missed the slam, gets it back, caught underneath at a double team, forces his way up. Now that's power right there by Javante Reddick.
Exactly. Thought he got hit, Tom.
8-6 the score, 5 second chance points for VCU. Here's Lowe for 3. He can do that. He's 6'11", but he can hit the three-pointer. It's a 5-point St. Louis lead. But Theus immediately comes into the offensive end.
St. Louis does a great job of the pick and pop. Rob Lowe there, who made it, the center, and Cody Ellis is going to come off the bench real soon. Does also a wonderful job on the pick and pop.
Ellis and Jordan Jet both at the scorer's table. Here's Graham, few steps beyond the arc, no good. Evans with the rebound. Pete, why has Evans been so good during this winning streak?
He's just so active, he's so physical. He rebounds really well, tremendous on the offensive glass. He drives, he posts up, he's just really smart. He knows his role.
Well, here's Lowe off to pick and pop again. Too long. Graham with the rebound. Now Graham brings it up the floor. It's one of the reasons why he's so dangerous, because he can handle the ball.
Get him the ball. Let him drive now. Glaze is fouling him a lot.
Glaze is called for the personal foul. This has been a very odd season for St. Louis. So successful. Of course, Rick Majerus passed away in December. 15:03 to play here in the first half. St. Louis with the early lead. It's 11-6 over VCU. We talked about this winning streak for St. Louis. They've won 7 straight. The average margin of victory, how about that, Pete? 15.7 points in that 7-game winning streak.
That's amazing. Tremendous defense, a lot of balance, aggressiveness, and great coaching. And this is a tremendous league, Tom. To win 7 in a row in this league is not easy to do.
Well, they've also held the opposition in the 50s 5 times during that 7-game winning streak. And Jim Cruz, very methodical. As we said, he's the interim coach for St. Louis. They're coming off a fantastic year a season ago. Remember Brian Conklin, how emotional he was at the end of the season when they lost to Michigan State. They played so well in that ball game.
Played a great game. Tom Izzo, I think, is one of the best coaches in the country, and they came within 1 or 2 plays of upsetting the Spartans and getting to the Sweet 16.
Well, here's Graham off the inbounds, and he is checked by Rob Lowe. That foul on Lowe is his first. By the way, Ellis and Jordan Jet have checked into the ball game for St. Louis. Meanwhile, Brandenburg checks back in. And he's also joined by DJ Haley, number 33 for VCU.
That's what VCU has to do, is drive the basket, pack the rim.
Well, Graham's going to be called for a personal foul. It's an offensive foul. He lowered his shoulder against Cody Ellis. Does anybody take a charge better than Cody Ellis?
No, best in the country, I think. He has 34 charges taken. This is number 35. It's unofficial stat, but they practice it. When Coach Cruz was at Evansville, they did it a lot. When we coached against him when I was at Xavier, and they do a great job with taking the charges. And I just said he might be the best in the country in taking charges.
To John Gaffney, he said they have guys that battle with each other to try to take the charge.
That's true. They tackle each other to take the charge, but it's a tremendous play. It's now a foul on Travion Graham, the leading scorer for the Rams. Gets his closest to the 1-on-1 or the super bonus for 2 shots. So it's a big play, and it takes the ball out of the hands of the Rams. It was a good call. He lowered his shoulder, and Cody Ellis did a terrific job of taking that charge.
Well, Graham checks out. Guest is in for the first time for VCU. We mentioned the Rams. They can go 11 deep if they choose to. And there's a steal on a bad pass from Mitchell. Here's Guest in the open floor. Weber covered by Mitchell. Switching man-to-man for St. Louis. Brandenburg outside, covered by Jet. Nice move by Brandenburg. Sweeps it in, and he's going to go to the free throw line for a 3-point play.
Yep. Notice the Rams doing a nice job. They're not going east and west. They're attacking the rim. Brandenburg, nice sweep. It goes by Jet, attacks the rim. Lowe's late getting over. Second foul on Rob Lowe, the center for St. Louis. Brandenburg is the X factor, I feel, for the Rams. When he does well, when he scores 11 points or more, the Rams are 13-0. So if he scores, he has to score now. Graham is on the bench right now.
Brandenburg misses the free throw. From Chaffetz Arena on the campus of St. Louis University, along with Pete Gillen, I'm Tom McCarthy. Atlantic 10 basketball battle for first place in the A-10. VCU, number 24 in the country, with the road black. Meanwhile, St. Louis in the home white. You see VCU's record. They're a half game ahead of St. Louis. A 3 by Barnett, who was so hot the last ball game. And it's 14-8, St. Louis on top. Don't forget Butler, LaSalle, and Xavier. They're looming right behind these two teams in the standings in the Atlantic 10.
Barnett had 4 threes against Charlotte on Saturday, and practice yesterday was red hot, so he's really feeling it.
Haley called for the traveling violation. So far, VCU seems like they're a little out of sorts. Is that true?
Yeah, they're bothered by the half-court pressure defense by St. Louis. St. Louis is really jamming them, really being aggressive, so they're getting a lot of trouble with their aggressive D.
VCU has turned it over 3 times so far. Barnett thought about a 3. Instead goes down low to Remican. Here's Cody Ellis, 15 points away from 1,000 for his career. Jordair Jet pulls up for 3, no good. But the rebound by McCall, and the putback falls off. McCall came out of nowhere for that offensive board.
Little guy, 5'11", nice hops.
Now VCU's down by 6, but they can go on a run better than anybody in the Atlantic 10. We've done a bunch of their games this year. We've watched them go on those kind of runs.
They lead the country in scoring road games.
Melvin Johnson for 3. He was a little off balance. Ellis with the rebound.
That's football underneath over there. They're tackling each other.
Yeah, that was Remican and Guest, who were tied up away from the ball. McCall finds Ellis outside. And that'll be a blocking foul called on Darius Theus with 12:46 to play here in the first half. Well, 5 fouls right now for VCU, 14 fouls for St. Louis. Weber checks in for Brandenburg. Travion Graham checks back in. He has 1 foul.
That's important. He's back because he's their scorer. He's their go-to guy. So Lewis has experienced quick guards. They've been around. They've been to the NCAA tournament. They've been to the CBI.
How about the hands of Theus? He knocked that ball away 2 different times before it went out of bounds.
Lightning quick. One of the best steal guys in the country. But going against experienced, quick, talented guards of the Billikens. McCall is a terrific player, and Jermaine Mitchell is excellent. Jordair Jet is terrific. So the Billikens have really very fine guards. So it's a tremendous battle of guards.
Jet covered by Weber up top. Weber is the best defender for VCU.
He's Mr. Havoc. That game he had 10 steals against Florida Gulf Coast.
Shot clock is down to 5, and that's an illegal screen by Remican. Well, Theus and Briante Weber have combined for 146 steals, more than 77 Division I teams.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You know, when you ask the two about it, everybody says that Weber's the best. They say he's long arms, he's fast, as Daniels checks in with 2. Meanwhile, Theus is smart, sort of cerebral, reads the defender, and then is able to go after the ball.
Both lightning quick and 2 of the best in the country. And Deontay Weber leads the country. And you see Troy Daniels coming in, and Theus is one of the top 10 in the country in steals.
Daniels thought about a 3. Didn't realize he might have been a little too far. Theus, the extra kick. Okie 4 for 3, no good. Loose ball. Barnett battling with Reddick. He's got it. Now St. Louis in transition. Crossover by McCall, and ball knocked out of bounds by Theus. 11:53 to play here in the first half. It's a 6-point lead for the Billikens and the Feds. So far, VCU down by 6 with 11:53 to play here in the first half. If you followed VCU in the Atlantic 10, then you know all about Havoc. This is a story that Luke Wynn did for Sports Illustrated, really describing the theories behind Shaka Smart's Havoc defense. You want to talk about an energetic coach? That's Shaka Smart, almost in a catcher's position. Look at what his teams have done during his years at VCU.
It's amazing. His first year, they were 31st in the country, and in the last 3, first in the country in steals and turnover margin. Amazing. And, he has so much energy, and so do his players.
Well, talking to Darius Theus about Shaka Smart and about his Havoc defense, he talked about the last time VCU was here in St. Louis for the CBI. He said, you know, that was our first year, Shaka Smart's first year. And he said a lot of the older players hadn't really bought into what Shaka was trying to do. But by winning the CBI, that's when they started to buy into it. And then the following year, where'd they go?
Final Four.
The Final Four.
Yep, they loved Anthony Grant, previous coach, who's now at Alabama, and finally Shaka won them over.
McCall makes the first free throw. The foul, by the way, was called on Theus. That was his second, so he's taking his seat on the bench. Daniels, though, is playing with 2 for VCU. Glaze is playing with 2 for St. Louis.
They go inside to Reddick, get him the ball. I don't think Cody Ellis can guard him inside and get him the basketball.
Here's Graham on the drive. He doesn't get the roll, but he gets his own rebound. Can't get his second shot to go. How about a third shot? Nope. Reddick had 1. Now he has 2. Now he has 3. Oh, there's a cover on the cylinder.
Tremendous effort for the Rams, just couldn't finish.
Here's Barnett for 3. Good! Barnett's made 2 big shots so far in the first half. It's a 19-8 lead for St. Louis. Graham fouled by Jordan Jet. Watch this whole thing. This must cause a big pit in a coach's stomach.
Frustrating. 1 shot missed by Graham. Another one fighting. 2 guys in traffic. Graham again. Reddick with the tap. Reddick again. Just can't finish. And they push it. And a 3. Barnett has been red hot lately. Bang. 4 against Charlotte on Saturday. He's got 2 now. He's red hot yesterday in practice, so he is on fire.
So it's an 11-point ball game, a fresh 35 off the foul by Jordan Jet. No points in the last 3.5 minutes and counting for VCU. The call off the board.
VCU averages 82 points in road games this year to lead the country. Right now, they have 8 points.
We're nearly halfway done with this first half.
Ready the defense of the Billikens and also their methodical half-court offense.
Have to admit, during the VCU UMass game last week, they had a similar first half where they missed a lot of little layups. Shot clock is at 5 for St. Louis. Here's McCall with his runner, and no good. They grab with the rebound.
Reddick's got to want the ball. The big guy for the Rams. Cody Ellis, I don't think he got him. He's aggressive.
Reddick setting a screen up front for Brandenburg. Brandenburg skips it to the corner for Daniels. Shot clock under 10. Brandenburg with the shot clock at 5. Loose ball picked up by Ellis. We are halfway halfway done with the first half, and VCU has just 8 points. They're 0 for their last 9. They haven't scored in 5 minutes.
St. Louis is making them take tough shots, contested shots.
Here's Ellis for 3. It's good. Some pretty big threes so far for St. Louis, but a lot of those threes are coming off some solid defense. They're up by 14. Their half-court defense has been outstanding.
Exactly. They're in there. Nice contested shot. Cody Ellis with the contest. Only 1 shot for the Rams. They push it ahead. Pick and pop. Ellis is famous for that. He buries it. Billikens 11-0 run. Just the 14-22 mark of the first half. So Cody Ellis, a young man who lives in Perth, Australia in the offseason, came all the way from Australia to St. Louis.
Well, it's time now to look at the eye file on Cody Ellis. He's 12 points away from 1,000 for his career. The first one's big, Pete. Loves to pick and pop.
That's what you saw, the pick and pop play on a baseline charge card. He takes now 35 charges for the season. Probably leaves the country in Ocean's 11. Why is that? Famous movie, but he lives near the ocean. I'm sure he did a little surfing. He's got nice little accoutrements on the hair. A couple of years ago, he had white frosting flakes, so he loves the ocean, he loves the atmosphere, and he loves the three-point shot.
Yeah, he colored it one more time this week, probably for the end of the year. It's a little lighter than it was a couple weeks ago when we saw him. But he has helped St. Louis to a 14-point lead.
Whatever he does, keep doing it because he's playing great.
Brandenburg off the pass, high post, covered by Mitchell. High-low for Reddick through the double team. Can't get it to go. And a save by McCall.
Reddick can't finish. Getting shots in traffic. Just can't finish right now.
I don't know if I ever thought I would see 6 minutes go off the clock between field goals for VCU, but that's what we're near. Here's Ellis for 3 again, short. And it's out of bounds, tipped last by VCU.
You pick and pop so quickly, you almost have to switch on that, because by the time you help, the guy's slipping to the other side, you release it, and you get the shot off. Ellis and Rob Lowe is on the bench right now, great three-point shooters.
A lot of times, too, that they'll show the screen, they won't screen, and they just slip toward the basket as Mitchell slips to the basket along the baseline. 24-8 the score. It's been a dominant first half defensively for St. Louis, and hence this 16-point lead. VCU's also missed some easy shots, and a steal by McCall. Bad pass by Guest. McCall, a little hesitation. Mitchell hasn't done a whole lot scoring-wise, but he certainly has been able to control the offense. And a foul away from the basket. That's going to be called on Melvin Johnson.
Mitchell's a fifth-year senior. He's been around a long time. He's lightning quick and doing a great job for the Billikens.
So Evans will go to the free throw line for a 1-on-1 opportunity. Remick will check in for Glaze. Nope, he's going to check in for Ellis, excuse me. Glaze thought he was going out. Ellis checks out now. Pete, if your shot is smart, you know that it's in your arsenal to go on these quick runs. You can't panic at this point, right?
No, long way to go. Knock down some threes and keep driving the basket.
Well, if Evans misses that one, there was a violation. He didn't miss it, so he gets a second shot.
Brandenburg went over the line that time.
Ellis takes a breather. Lowe probably on the bench for the rest of the half with 2 fouls. Evans' second shot, good.
VCU has to keep reversing the ball and drive it. One more foul and they get some free throws, and then they get into their press.
Under 8 minutes to play. Reddick has it stripped away, out of bounds. Kwame Mitchell came in with the fast hands. VCU is shooting just 18% from the floor. St. Louis, a resounding 53. St. Louis on top 26-8. Yep, that is the right score. 7:54 to play in the first half, Pete. This is amazing what's happening in this first half.
Tremendous defense by St. Louis. They're holding the Rams to 17% from the field. They're taking tough shots. So great defense leads to offense for the Billikens.
All right, Pete, a little foreshadowing in my pocket. It's time now for the Reese's Perfect Play.
I like to eat that. It's
Yeah.
great. Here we have a nice pick and pop play that they like to use. We see here now the big guys for St. Louis do a great job. Now, he hedges out too far, Reddick, and Lowe's going to pop to the corner for a shot. So he comes off the screen. He goes. He comes out too far. Lowe pops. Pick and pop splash. 3-point shot. Nice job by the Billikens. A pick and pop play by Rob Lowe, the center, who shoots really well from downtown.
And as you mentioned before, it doesn't always have to be Lowe. It could be anybody in that pick and pop.
Exactly.
And you can see the Billikens' 7th straight game with a 17-point lead.
That's
Will
staggering.
it remain? Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows? We'll see. I think the Rams are going to come back, but right now they got a big hole.
St. Louis has the edge in the rebounding by 1, 12-11. They're also 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, VCU 1 for 5 from beyond the arc. Here's Reddick, another very difficult shot. He didn't have the angle.
He's having trouble with the physicality of St. Louis. They're bumping him, they're leaning on him, and he's struggling with that.
Is that surprising you?
Well, you know, he's a kind of a gentle guy. He's an easygoing. He's a terrific young man, but he's got to be a little more aggressive. And right now, I think he's stunned by the physicality of St. Louis.
Again, 14:34, the last time VCU had a field goal. They've gone more than 7 minutes between made shots. McCall with 5 on the shot clock. Sped right past Weber. His teardrop takes a friendly bounce.
Driving left every time. Got to push him down. He's getting to the middle.
This is a 17-0 run for the Billikens. Under 7 minutes to play. VCU holds the possession arrow. Each team with 4 timeouts left in this first half.
Get the ball to Travion Graham. He can drive it.
Instead, they go to Reddick, who's fouled going up. A blocking foul called on St. Louis. Well, Mike McCall has not played as well in the second half as he did in the first half, but this is what he can do.
Lightning quick. He goes left every time, and nice floater. That teardrop's a tough shot. You got to push him down to the baseline. That time he went to the middle, but he's very, very quick, and he's also the best 3-point percentage shooter for St. Louis. So the veteran guards of St. Louis, it's a guards game. They have tremendous guards.
Reddick makes the free throw. Shaka Smart's teams have been dominant so far this year. They've held the lead or been within a point for 93.7% of the total minutes played.
So they are certainly in shock right now.
Well, they have 1 point, Pete, in the last 8 minutes.
Credit to St. Louis defense. They're doing a tremendous job making VCU take tough shots.
6.5 to play. VCU has scored only 9 points. Remikin from the baseline still has time on the clock. Here's Mitchell. Body fakes it 3. Ooh, what a jab step. His 3 is no good. And Reddick with a good rebound into the hands of Weber. Daniels with 2 fouls, leaves it for Graham. Pulls up from 7, no good. And Evans battling with Graham. Graham has the shot blocked by Remikin. Loose ball, and it's picked up by St. Louis. Another ball that falls off the rim for VCU.
It's tough in traffic. They try to use the glass.
Mitchell gets the torque off the backboard. St. Louis is a very talented team. I'm not sure if anyone saw this coming in the first half.
I certainly did not.
It's a 21-point game. Graham from 17, no good. Evans loses it out of bounds. It'll be a fresh 35 for VCU.
Right now they're trying to score. They're banging the boards hard. Up again, second shot for Graham. Third shot for Travion Graham. Just rolls off. Now Mitchell comes down and kisses it off the glass. So that's disheartening. When you have 3 or 4 shots and you miss it and they come down, get a quick layup, it really hurts your spirit.
David Hinton checks into the ballgame for the first time for VCU. Reddick will take a seat on the bench. VCU does have 11 offensive boards, but they've missed all those little putbacks. tipped out of bounds, and it will be St. Louis ball. Jet in on the pressure of Theus. 5th turnover for VCU. And Brandenburg and Melvin Johnson will check back in for VCU. Pretty clean game though, Pete. 5 turnovers for VCU, just 2 for St. Louis.
Yep. VCU shooting now 14% from the field. With credit to St. Louis defense. They're doing a tremendous job contesting every shot, pressuring the ball, pressuring the passing lanes.
Well, the 2 turnovers by St. Louis are important because of the number of turnovers that St. Louis and the number of steals that VCU forces. Here's Ellis way downtown from the edge of Perth. And the loose ball, and it's picked up by VCU, and the foul on Mike McCall. So that means we'll have a free throw coming with a 1-and-1 opportunity.
These last 4 minutes and 49 seconds are very important for the Rams to try to get back in the game. Try to get it to 14 or 15, and still a long game.
Barnett comes back in. Remican will take a seat on the bench. As Hinton, the former walk-on, redshirt senior, misses the front end of the 1-and-1, and Barnett with the rebound. Nothing's falling.
Nothing's going right now for VCU.
Lewis perfect from the line. VCU 2 of 6 from the line. It's been 10 minutes since VCU's last field goal. They only have 1 point during that time. Meanwhile, St. Louis just keeps on adding to their lead. Barnett, what a first half he's had. That's 8 points for him.
What's the walk? It's a moving play.
Here's Graham just inside the free throw line, and finally the streak is over after 10 minutes and 26 seconds.
They can't score. They can't get into their press. Now they're into their press.
Only the 3rd turnover for St. Louis. Brandenburg launches a 3, and Ellis with another board.
Not a good shot that time. They were anxious, but he did a better shot than that.
Jet, little hesitation, and that's an offensive foul. Hinton stepped in, was able to take the offensive charge. Timeout on the floor. We'll be right back. Well, it's the same color of blue. The last time that VCU was down this much, it was against Duke. That was just 14 points, but St. Louis is on top 32-11. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Adam Zucker, Wally Zerbiak, Mateen Cleaves, and Gary Parrish. They'll talk about this one. I'm sure that Wally and Mateen have some insights on what's happening from this first half. Plus, we'll have highlights from around college basketball. It's been a very eventful first half. Let's take a look at some of the defense that the Billikens have been able to force.
Yeah, Rob Lowe does an excellent job. He gets the ball on the way up. Gets a piece of it from Reddick. Reddick can't control it. There we go, McCall in transition. Contest every shot. They're very aggressive. Excellent defense leads to good offense. They can't finish inside. Not easy shots. They're in traffic, but VCU just can't finish inside. Jim Cruz done a fabulous job with this program. Not easy to take over when a coach passes away, and very sad day for the St. Louis community and St. Louis University, but Jim Cruz has done an unbelievable job with this program.
Oh, we showed the numbers before. 373 career wins. It includes 17 years at Evansville, 7 years at Army as a head basketball coach.
Tom, I coached against him for 9 years when he was at Evansville, and I was at Xavier University in Cincinnati. He's a tremendous coach, a class guy, real good family guy. I love to see him get the job. He's interim coach right now, and I know he and the AD, Chris May, said let's wait till the end of the season. He deserves the job right now. He'll do a wonderful job with the program, and players love him. They're playing hard for him. They practiced yesterday, and he'd be a great credit to St. Louis U. But Father Biondi, the president's a wonderful priest, and Chris May, a great AD. They'll make the right decision, but I hope they go with Jim Cruz.
Brandenburg called for the foul out at midcourt with 2:40 to play here in this first half. We mentioned before that VCU earlier this year trailed by 14 to Duke. Well, this is now the largest, officially the largest deficit for VCU this season. As the call to the line, St. Louis perfect from the free throw line, and that continues. 7 for 7.
It's all about the guards. St. Louis has tremendous guards, veteran, quick as cats, terrific spacing, so the pressure is not bothering them at all. And you can't score. If you can't score, you can't get into your full court pressure. So it's a combination of things. But mainly the physical, aggressive, quick defense. You notice they're all in a stance. They're always down low. Low they are. They're all low. They're talking and helping each other. Awesome defense by the Billikens.
Graham, nice move to get away from Ellis. Can't get the baseline jumper to go. Ball knocked out of bounds, and it will be VCU ball. All right, now, Pete, you talked about the stance that St. Louis is in defensively. A lot of the tendencies we see are Rick Majerus tendencies. However, with Jim Cruz, they've been a little more aggressive on the ball and with that first pass.
Definitely. They're on the ball more aggressively, and they're denying the wings more aggressively. Rick more packed in. He wasn't trying to steal it, wasn't trying to get deflection. He was more protecting the basket. So an adjustment by Jim Cruz, but this is Rick Majerus' team, though. The offense that they run, this is the stamp. He's not with us, but his team is with us.
Johnson gets it to Graham, sets up for three, and it's good. Trevion Graham has the ability to retake over this ball game.
Exactly.
And there's a steal by Weber, who falls to the sidelines. Trevion Graham has made 39 threes this year. He's 37% from beyond the arc. This one was a couple steps beyond the arc.
Nice jab fake. He got Dwayne Evans back on that foot fake, and he nailed the three.
Another ball knocked out of bounds by Brandon Bird. Well, VCU is not quitting. You wouldn't expect them to.
No, they play with a big heart. They're not going away. St. Louis is playing really, really, really well, but VCU is going to keep scrapping and clawing.
Barnett had a solid first half. He'll check out. Jordair Jett checks back in. Jett's in with 2 personal fouls. Ooh, a steal by Weber. He is fast. Leaves it for Reddick, and the easy slam.
Leading steal guy in the country. You just got to steal.
St. Louis has now turned the ball over in 3 of its last 4 possessions. Still a 16-point lead for the Billikens. Look at Shaka Smart working the sidelines. He just does not sit still. The energy is always there.
I love watching him coach.
Now Graham will be called for that foul. That energy that you see from Shaka Smart during games, you see it during shoot-around. You see it during practice. There are balls flying every which way during shoot-around and practice.
No, he's tremendous energy. He relates with the players really well. They love him, and he loves them, and it's a real family atmosphere at VCU.
Barnett's back in. Jett out. And Evans to the free throw line. A lot of fouls early, but this is still a 1-and-1 opportunity for Evans. And it continues what has been a hot stretch for St. Louis from the line. They're 9 for 9 from the free throw line.
They're playing an almost perfect first half. A couple of glitches, but considering the opponent they're playing, number 24 ranked VCU, they're playing great.
36-18, Shaka Smart. He said he's always moving on the sidelines. Some coaches sit, some get up, some walk the sidelines. And his team gets going. I don't know if there's a more emotional guy in the A-10. Maybe Archie Miller from Dayton is the equivalent.
Shaka's there with the players every step of the way. He's coaching every dribble.
1 minute to play here in the first half. Reddick backs his way in against Ellis, turns, and finally gets one to pinball around and go down.
He's had 6 double-doubles in the last 7 games, so he's got to step up. Graham can't do it by himself.
How about Shaka Smart said to us today he was the 6th best player on his high school team. And he's really come of age. He's a junior.
got a chance to be a pro. He's got to get a little more aggressive, work on the weights a little bit more, and a little more confidence. But he's got a chance.
Here's Evans on the mismatch over the top of Daniels. I say mismatch, not in ability, but in size against Daniels.
He's a Terminator in the low post. Scored 15 a game in a 7-game winning streak.
The call called for the foul. That's his second. With 9.6 to play, now it's going to be a 2-shot foul. That's not what he wanted.
Nope. The defense was great. You didn't need to foul somebody 34 feet from the basket.
How about the fans here at Chaffetz Arena? They were on their feet with the final dozen or so seconds, trying to show their appreciation for what has been, as you said, a near perfect first half for St. Louis.
They have tremendous fans here, and it's wonderful that they're supporting the Billikens.
Theus, the first of 2, makes it. Pete was able to spend hours with that gentleman on what he should wear to the game tonight.
My cousin. He looks good. Superman.
Could have come up with a different moniker for himself, though.
Yeah. I got some issues, but he might have some things going on.
Second shot for Theus. No good. Barnett pulls down the board. 7 seconds to play. St. Louis has a chance to score. Here's Mitchell into the paint. Kicks it for Barnett for 3. No good. And that will end the first half here at Chaffetz Arena. How about this first half for St. Louis? Jim Cruz very composed, as you can imagine. His fans behind him, a sold-out crowd. I don't think anybody saw that kind of first half coming, no matter how you thought this game would finish up.
No, I can't believe it. They played a tremendous first half. The Billikens, they shot 54%. They held VCU to 27%. And Billikens only had 5 turnovers, and they were 10 for 10 from the foul line. So unbelievable first half for St. Louis.
Yeah, dominant, as we talked about at the end of the first half. All right, it's time now for our AT&T Fast Analysis. Pete, let's revisit some of the things you talked about earlier.
Well, we talked about VCU getting points off turnovers here. An excellent job by VCU. A nice steal. They push it ahead. Brandenburg with a steal. They push it ahead. Here's another one. Mr. Havoc, Briante Weber. He picks the pocket. That time of Mitchell. Gives it in to Reddick. Boom. Nice basket. So that's what they got to do. St. Louis points in the paint. That time Mitchell goes by. Briante Weber like to win and finishes in the paint. 16 points in the paint for St. Louis. Here they go inside to Evans. Nice post up. Jump hook by Evans, the leading scorer for St. Louis. Great job in the paint.
All right, time now for our 5-hour energy first half statistics. Look at that first number. 54.5 for St. Louis. Field goal percentage, 27.6 for VCU.
Great defense by St. Louis. Foul line 10 for 10. Reddick only 7 points, and Evans 10 points. So great job. And VCU only 3 for 8 from the foul line.
They also have only turned St. Louis over 5 times, which is 15 less than what they average. All right, for VCU, what do you think they'll need to do, Pete, in the second half?
They got to finish in the lane much better, and they got to knock down threes. My head looks a little big there in the picture.
Like your tie, though.
I like the tie. Getting ready for St. Patty's Day, but finish in the lane and knock down threes. This game's not over. They're going to keep fighting. We're going to have a great finish.
All right, last week, down at VCU trailed UMass by 5 at the half, and then look at what they did to the Minutemen. They outscored them 49-26 in the second half. They have those kind of capabilities as we get set for the second half. They get it away.
Key is the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half. The Rams got to make a certain imprint right now in the game. Grab the game by the throat.
So we begin the second half. VCU down 38-21. Starting 5 the same for both teams as we begin the second half. Rob Lowe in with 2 fouls. Glaze with 2 fouls for St. Louis. Brandenburg with 2. Daniels with 2 for VCU. Theus also has 2. Graham high post. Handoff to Theus. Right side of the lane. Pull up. One-handed shot. It's a beauty.
He's their leader. Not a great scorer, but when they need something, Theus usually delivers.
So the first points of the half go to VCU. This is what's at stake tonight. VCU comes in half game ahead of St. Louis. A win tonight, the winner gets sole possession of first place with games winding down in the regular season. You'd love to get the top seed. You'd love to get a bye in the A-10 tournament.
That was St. Louis' goal to begin the season, was win the A-10 regular season title, and they got a chance to do it with a win tonight.
9 on the shot clock. McCall for 3 over top of Graham.
He's the best three-point percentage shooter for St. Louis, and he knocked down a big one from about 22 feet.
VCU now 6 of, after that shot, VCU goes back on offense. There's 6 of their last 8 from the floor. Let's see if they can answer that 3 by McCall. Theus down low to Reddick. Turnaround jumper. They need to get him going. That was a very comfortable, under control shot.
It was quick. It was aggressive. They need him also. So now they got to get some turnovers. St. Louis backcourt is experienced. They're quick. They handle the ball really well. Excellent spacing. Great coaching by Jim Cruz and his staff.
It's one of the things that stands out when you discuss Mitchell and McCall. They're composed. And that's a big thing.
They've been around. A lot of poise, as you said, and they take their time. The VCU half-court defense has to get a little better.
Here's Mitchell, fakes the 3, shot clock under 10, into the paint. No, the pass to Lowe, gets the roll. How about that one?
Rim was kind. Nice being at home. You get breakfast in bed.
Theus with the answer, and he'll go to the line to finish off a 3-point play. That is 3 fouls now on Rob Lowe. How about this no-look pass from Kwame Mitchell? And that was vintage Kwame Mitchell, and then the answer by Theus, which is exactly what VCU wants to do when a team scores on it.
Yeah, we're talking to the staff yesterday, and they said that Kwame Mitchell was a little bit of a funk because other guys are scoring. He used to be a big scorer, but he's playing a tremendous game tonight.
Theus' free throw attempt is good, so his 3-point play is complete. There's Kwame Mitchell. Missed most of the first half of the year because he broke his foot. Just as the season got underway, the practice schedule got underway. Brandenburg checks out. Deontay Weber back in. Jordair jets in for Rob Lowe. Mitchell in his 114th game all starts. Here's Ellis, lays it in. They broke the press, and they got the easy shot. Ellis now with 5 points, 9 away from 1,000 for his career. The lead at the half was 17. The lead 3 minutes into the second half is 17. Daniels for 3. Good! And now all of a sudden it's a 14-point game, 45-31. Daniels 94 3-pointers made. That ties his own record that he established last year.
He's a guy that, once again, he gets on fire. He could shrink in a second.
He's going to obliterate his numbers from last year.
The game's left.
Ellis for 3. He was hot against Fordham, hot the last time out against Charlotte. This is there.
Rams got to push it, be more aggressive in transition, Tom, before the excellent St. Louis half-court defense gets set.
Graham open up top. It's good. Back-to-back 3s for VCU, and now to the 11-point ball game. They're a stop and a pop away from making this a single-digit game. Here's Evans into the paint, pulls it back out. Jordair Jet, quick first step, heads to the hoop, gets the bounce. And now Theus up the floor. The answer from Daniels, got some space, and shot no good. Reddick tips the rebound to Jordair Jet. Here he comes up the floor, has numbers for St. Louis, keeps it himself, and they call the blocking foul. It's all about body control. Jordair Jet with a little hesitation, and then finally at the last moment, he erupted, he left his feet, and was able to get the bucket to go. And a free throw when we return.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of chocolate and peanut butter. By Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. And by 5 Hour Energy. What will you do in 5 hours?
Well, back here at St. Louis, the Billikens on top 49-34. We mentioned that this was an important ballgame for the top spot in the Atlantic 10. Well, Butler has defeated Duquesne easily, by the way, at Hinkle Fieldhouse 68-49. The rest of the A-10 games will take place later on. Tomorrow there are 3 games. Then Thursday, I'll be in Philadelphia for LaSalle and Temple. But this is a whopper of a ball game for these two squads. Pete, how about this last play by St. Louis, or a couple of plays ago?
Great job by dribble penetration by the Billikens. Mitchell gets in there deep. All the defense converges now around Mitchell. He dumps it off to Lowe. Tremendous pass behind his back. Lowe with a finish. Great dribble penetration by the Billikens. Romaine Mitchell's doing a great job. The guards from St. Louis, Tom, will get into the lane. They're penetrating. You got to get some help for the big guys by VCU.
Well, now Jordair Jet, who just had the fast break bucket, will go to the line to finish off a 3-point play. St. Louis 10 for 10 from the free throw line. First to 50, 50-34. Chaffetz Arena is where we are. St. Louis, Missouri, along with Pete Gillen, and I'm Tom McCarthy. St. Louis on top 50-34. St. Louis, a win tonight, sole possession of the Atlantic 10. VCU wins tonight, then the Rams have sole possession of the A-10 regular season. Time is winding down in this regular season. Butler, a winner tonight over Duquesne, now 9-3. LaSalle, they play Thursday, they're 8-3.
St. Louis goes to Butler on Friday, Thompson. That's going to be a great game.
Reddick, turnaround jumper, that's his second field goal of this half.
Now they get the defense set up. Now it's a 1-2-1-1 zone press. They changed their defense here.
That's a tough skip pass. They get it over top, and Barnett is there for it.
It's the havoc. Deontay Weber almost got a piece of that.
Just saw the field goal percentage, Pete. For VCU, it's rising a little bit, but for St. Louis, it's risen over 60. And a hand-checking foul called on Melvin Johnson.
Good call. The officials are doing an excellent job so far. Not an easy game to officiate because both these teams are very physical. Physical pressure by VCU and the physical half-court defense by St. Louis.
Fresh 35, the inbounds to Romaine Mitchell.
VCU just has to keep St. Louis in front of them. Don't let them penetrate. They're getting into the lane much too easily.
Here's Jordair Jet. He's one of the reasons why they're getting into the paint. Well, he's really played well lately, hasn't he?
Tremendous player. Go off the bench.
One of the reasons why St. Louis has a 16-point advantage in bench scoring. Johnson doesn't get it to go. Guest with the board.
Still have an eternity to go. 16 points, a lot of points, but VCU is one of the leading scoring teams in the country, so they're not dead yet.
Brandenburg, with the slam by Guest. It had just fallen off the rim, which is why he was able to get a free pass to the basket. That was awfully close, wasn't it?
It's close, almost in the cylinder. VCU just has to sit in the stands. They're in the lane. They're getting in the lane way too much.
Jet for 3. That's not his game, but he gets it to go. He has the last 3 buckets for St. Louis.
Tremendous player. He leads the team in steals and assists and big baskets. He hits a bunch of them.
Well, now, Pete, it's back to a 17-point lead for St. Louis. Jet with 10 points. Here's Johnson, and a blocking foul called against the Billikens. And Mitchell's in pain. Or at least, I think he is. He may just be angry that he was called for the foul.
The missed shot, no box out. That time, Guest comes in and pipes it. St. Louis is in the lane. Here's their answer. Penetrated to the lane, and Jordair Jet from way downtown defense all converged around the dribbler, around Jordan Jett. He kicked it out, and plenty of time to shoot.
Pete, a lot of times they say that the screen game, the pick game, has been overtaken by the dribble drive and pass game to establish offense. For St. Louis, they can do both.
Exactly. They do an excellent job. The big guys picking and popping for those 3 shots. And they're getting to the lane way too much. They're beating VCU off the dribble. Going right at the rim.
Johnson made the first. Converts the second. It was a 17-point lead at the half. And now it's a 15-point lead for St. Louis.
VCU changed their pressure now. Full court, man-to-man traps. They had 1-2-1 zone press before. Just got to sit down. If you're VCU, just defend. Don't let the guy get in the lane. Make him make perimeter shots, contested them. St. Louis, be patient, pick and pop. Go to Cody Ellis now.
Here's Jordan Jett. He now has the last 12 points for St. Louis.
Taking over the game.
Graham against McCall. Can't get it to go. Battle for the rebound. Picked up by the Billikens and Corey Remican. Here's Ellis off the fake. We'll talk about the hot hand. It's Jordan Jett who has the hot hand. Covered by Graham up top. Here's McCall. Pulls up for 3. No good. Remican can't finish. Gets his own rebound, though. And then pulls it back out. Oh, it's Evans who pulled it back out. Excuse me.
He's a warrior in the paint, Wayne Evans.
Well, enough for St. Louis. They're content to run some more time off the clock, right?
The clock is their best friend right now, but you've got to keep attacking. Mr. Shavitz like it. Looks like he's a coach, too.
Here's Jett working against Hinton. And a blocking foul called on Hinton.
Jordan Jett has been fabulous for St. Louis, defensively and offensively. Nice finish in transition, little mid-range game. He's got it all, and he also can shoot from way downtown. It's his world. We're just passing through it.
A 17-point lead, 57-40 over number 24 VCU. It's time to take a look at some of the teams who are hungry for a bid. Brought to you by Golden Corral. Pete, take it away.
These are Jesuit schools on the bubble. Catholic schools, all different orders of the Catholic Church. The Jesuits, they're great academicians. They love basketball. And these are some of the Jesuit schools that have great success. Great Blue Jays, St. Louis, and Xavier. They're all hungry for a bid. They got a chance. RPI, Creighton 43, 45. Xavier's got a 98, but they got tremendous games coming up. They got a chance to move up.
All right, so some of the other teams who are part of the Jesuit spotlight include Gonzaga, 25-2. What a year they've had under Mark Few.
Also, Jesuit Catholic School. Georgetown's got a great team, one of the tops in the Big East. Marquette's loaded. St. Joe's Hawks, because you worked there for many years and you're a great American. You put the Hawks in. They're a preseason favorite in the A-10. They're still good, but they're wildly a little bit. There's this guy, used to be a coach. Couldn't win on the road. That's why he's putting the chicken outfit on.
Well, here it's 57-40. St. Louis on top. Look at the field goal percentage. 8 of the 9 players that St. Louis has used tonight have scored, as they have the same lead now as they had at halftime. Here's Evans. Boy, tough back in by Dwayne Evans.
He is unbelievable from the foul line in. He's unreal. Strong. You got to double him. You can't just let him back in like that.
St. Louis's largest lead is 23. They're up by 19 right now. 9 minutes into the second half. Evans. Ball tipped away, picked up by McCall. And he asked for a timeout as he was falling out of bounds. We've said a lot about Jordan Jett, but Dwayne Evans, Pete, what a run he's had for the Billikens.
Playing great. He's really good in the paint. Nice jump hook. He goes in there. Too strong for Daniels. He's a Terminator in a low post.
A lot of folks around the country watching this ball game will say there's still plenty of time left. 10:57 to play, but St. Louis has a 19-point lead. Pete, they've been relentless so far tonight.
Tremendous defense, and the guards that get into the paint. They're penetrating, kicking for threes, dumping it off. They got to do a better job, VCU, of defending the perimeter.
All right, so the defense has been outstanding for St. Louis. It's time now to take a look at our Barbasol slam of the night. Haven't had many slam dunks tonight.
Not many. This time a drive. All the guys come in on St. Louis, and Guess attacks the rim. No screen out. Jared Guess with the dunk. Rams got to have more of that, finishing in the paint.
A lot of folks here at Chaffetz Arena wondered if that ball was still on the rim. That was a great shot to show that it was off the rim when Guess came in to clean it up. 10,600 is the capacity here at Chaffetz Arena. It is a Billiken blue out, and so far it has been a Billiken wipeout halfway into the second half.
Jordan Jet was fabulous. Different guys are stepping up. So again, this team almost made the Sweet 16. They came very close to beat Michigan State and going to the Sweet 16 last year. Most of the guys are back, so this is a tremendous basketball team, and I think the staff, St. Louis, has done a fabulous job putting these guys together. And, they're red hot right now.
Well, a win tonight for St. Louis doesn't guarantee that they'd be in the top 25 next weekend, because their schedule's not easy either. VCU, we said, has a big game coming up this week, and obviously St. Louis has a big game coming up this week too.
They do. They got to go to Butler on Friday, Indianapolis. And how about the A-10 tournament, March 14th to the 17th at Barclays Center?
It'll be incredible. Here's Jet from 16. He hasn't missed many in this half. He just missed that one. .59-40 the score. 10-15 to play here in the second half. Pete said VCU needs to try to get it inside, get to the rim. Graham off the screen by Reddick, picked up by Lowe, into the paint, moves his body to the right. And he's fouled. Well, Pete, you talked about the Atlantic 10 tournament. It'll be at the Barclays Center for first time, the 14th through the 17th. 12 of the 16 teams make the tournament. Somebody's going to be knocked out that's going to be a surprise around college basketball.
Exactly. It'll be a great tournament. A lot of very good teams. And, I can't wait. Imagine going to Juniors in Brooklyn, have a nice meal and a cheesecake, go down to Lower Manhattan, Little Italy, have a great meal, and go to a game. What's better than that? It's living.
You have to let out your CBS Sports blazer, Pete, if you go to both of those places.
Brooklyn, baby. Great place in Barclays Center. I've not been there, but heard it's beautiful.
We were there about 2 weeks ago. It was the night the Lakers were in town to take on the Nets, right before the Fordham-St. Louis game. Graham misses the second free throw, so he's 0 for 2 on that set. 19-point lead for St. Louis. There's the difference in free throws. Jet fouled on the floor. All right, how about this last free throw? Look at this guy.
Nice moves. More moves than a can of worms, that fella.
And he thinks that he was the reason why Travion Graham missed that free throw.
He hasn't been to class in a couple of weeks, but he's got great moves. I hope he's been to class for his parents' sake. They're paying money.
Low open for a moment, a little hesitant. They skip it to the corner. Ellis open for three. No good. Here comes Brandenburg in transition. Brandenburg, coast to coast. Reddick loses it to the floor. Low gives it off to McCall. Numbers for St. Louis. McCall leaves it for Ellis. Not afraid to shoot again. Ellis now with 8 points. He's 7 away from 1,000 for his career.
This team from St. Louis really believes. A lot of weapons.
Bias on the drive. To the corner for Weber. Gives up the three. Brandenburg. And an offensive foul calls. Pete, you want to talk about a flurry of activity.
Tremendous defense by St. Louis. Logan's on the floor. The 6'11 guy. They push it ahead. McCall. Nice kick to the corner. Cody Ellis with the bomb. Everybody converged in on McCall. He ran right to the corner. Good decision. Cody Ellis is a tremendous three-point shooter. Nailed it. Now look at his hair. You can paint your hair green, purple, whatever. You keep playing like that, Cody. Do what you want, but he's having a great senior season.
I think it says a lot, too, considering he missed the first semester of his freshman year and has been working off the bench and has been content with that he's on the doorstep of 1,000 points.
Yep, he's a terrific player. You know, he was with the Australian Olympic team trying out for that. Didn't make it, but excellent experience this summer.
One day you would figure he will, as Mitchell and Weber tie up near midcourt. The possession stays with St. Louis. John Gaffney made sure that he broke that up quickly with 8:31 to play here in the second half.
Two players playing hard. It's nothing else. VCU is in a 1-2-1-1 three-quarter court trap with a big guy on the ball. They're trying to steal it, but St. Louis likes to throw the ball back usually. That time they threw it to the middle of the court.
Shot clock does not reset. It's under 10. McCall working against Theus. Shot clock now at 4. McCall into the paint. Shot clock at 2.
How about the guard play in St. Louis?
Well, it's been one of the big differences tonight. They had their largest lead for about 15 seconds before Reddick hands that soft hook shot. 64-42 the score. McCall down low to a cutting Evans. Whistle blows. And a foul on the floor. 64-42 the score. It has not been Shaka Smart and VCU's night. It's been the Billikens' night all the way around. Here at the Chaffetz Arena, down on the floor, a commanding lead. The bench has been a big deal tonight for St. Louis. They're outscoring VCU 28-6. That's part of the reason why they're up 64-42. Atlantic 10 basketball continues this week starting Thursday at 7 Eastern. A Philadelphia Big Five matchup between LaSalle and Temple. The winner of that one, Pete, wins the Big Five. Then Saturday at 2, VCU heads to Cincinnati. This is not going to be an easy one. They'll take on Xavier at the Cintas Center. All this great A-10 action comes your way this week on CBS Sports Network. Let's take a look at tonight's Geico difference makers, Pete.
Well, for VCU, Reddick's really stepped up lately. 13.7 rebounds. He's really come on strong after a slow first half. For St. Louis, Jordan Jett's been fabulous. 12 points, all in the second half. 5 for 7 from the field, 2 rebounds, and outstanding defense on the floor.
Well, think about it, too. St. Louis has turned the ball over 5 times in this game. That's it. Zippo in the second half.
That's amazing. Once again, credit the tremendous guard play by St. Louis. Mitchell, Jordan Jett, McCall, tremendous guard play.
Evans, by the way, was fouled on the floor before the last time out, so he'll head to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 opportunity with 7:38 to play here in the second half. The winner of this one will have sole possession of the Atlantic 10 top spot. And he misses the free throw. It's the first miss of the night from the free throw line for St. Louis.
Man, the drone, it's not supposed to happen.
Well, they get a little greedy when they have such a commanding lead. Graham dribbled that one right off his leg. Look at the bench points, Pete. 28-6, St. Louis. Barnett's been part of that. Ellis has been part of that. Jett has been part of that. -3 tonight, turnover margin. VCU leads college basketball with a plus 8.3. Ellis left open again. He'll stop and take the jumper. No good. Lowe tips it to Barnett, who tips it to Ellis. It's been that kind of night.
Well, tremendous hustle by St. Louis.
Jordan Jett dribbles in, pulls it back out. And now now speeds to the hoop, and he's fouled.
Good hustle. St. Louis gets the offensive rebound, pull it back out. Jordan Jet super quick, get into the paint. No help defense by VCU. Nice finish. And one coming up.
This matches the largest lead of the night for St. Louis. A made free throw here, and the Billikens, with 6:39 left to play here in the second half, have a commanding lead.
But the coaching job for the staff, huh? Good a job to prepare these guys. Jimmy Platt scouted him. He's a former head coach.
Yep.
Did a great job. Good crews of the staff getting ready for this game.
Mitchell for three, no good. Ellis with the putback, no good, and Reddick is fouled from behind. All right, at the beginning of the game, we talked about something had to give coming into this ballgame because of the offense of VCU and the defense of St. Louis.
Right. Well, obviously, the VCU offense, they average 78 points for the season. Right now, they have 42. St. Louis defense, they average 57.8. They give up. Right now, they're going to be right around that before the game's over.
Well, the other thing, too, and you talked about this, VCU also averages over 80 points per game on the road.
They lead the country in scoring on the road, 82 points a game.
Ellis with the steal. One-on-one against Graham. Gets a little space.
When Cody Ellis came to St. Louis U, he was an offensive player. Vic Majerus taught him D. Jim Cruz encouraged him. Shot the lane, the gap, attacked the basket. Chance for a three-point play. Look at this. Emotion, passion, talent, coaching. St. Louis has it all.
And they also have some blue hair, Pete.
It looks good. On the beach, Australia.
Second straight miss from the line for St. Louis. Under 6 minutes to play here in the second half. 68-42 the score. Brandenburg was knocked away momentarily by Jet to Graham. Graham spins, high post, lets it go, no good, and Lowe pulls it out of the air.
It's a 101 decibel level, the loud noise, Tom. Very, very loud. Engineering majors know a lot about
I was going to say, where did you get that from? Did you Google that or something?
I Googled it. I've been Googling it many times. I'm with you.
It has been loud. It's been a great environment. We've been here before when it's been a great environment. You figure wins over New Mexico, over Butler. They've risen every occasion St. Louis has this year.
Exactly. We've got some tough games, as you mentioned them.
Here comes Briante Weber into the open floor, and he'll just easily lay it in. Haven't been too many open floor turnovers for St. Louis in this ball game. That's the first turnover of the half for St. Louis.
Usually VCU forces 20 turnovers a game. St. Louis only has 6 right now.
Look at that reaction from Shaka Smart.
Got to be frustrated. Great young coach, one of the best coaches in the country, but right now St. Louis is having a fabulous night. It's tough going on the road in the A-10, Tom. Very tough. You know the league very well, and it's tough.
25 points off turnovers per game. They have just 8 tonight.
Once again, the guard play for St. Louis is unbelievable. Experience, quick, strong, making real good decisions, penetrating, and they're finishing in the lane. VCU was playing them tight all over it, but when they penetrated, they didn't have enough help.
Well, Lowe will take a breather. Evans checks back in. So it's Barnett, Evans, Ellis, Jet, and Mitchell. Second shot is no good. So they've missed their last 5 free throws. Reddick lays it in. 68-46 the score. And a jump ball. The possession arrow is pointed toward VCU. See it blinking on the bottom of your screen. And as VCU will inbound, it will switch back over. 68-46 the score. With 4:32 to play. You know, Pete, we talk about these two coaches and how well they've prepared their teams. You and I have been around both these squads enough to know that there are others that help in that preparation. In fact, it's invigorating to watch the athletic training staff, but also the strength and conditioning coordinators for both of these teams. I mean, there's Eric Short, who with the goatee, he is the Billikens strength and conditioning coach. Rick Majerus says he's the best he ever had as a strength and conditioning coach.
Tremendous compliment by late Rick Majerus.
Now here's Daniel Roos, who's the VCU strength and conditioning coordinator. We say Shaka Smart is full of energy. This guy has as much energy as Shaka Smart, and then maybe even more.
Fired up, look at him, he's into the game. These guys are invaluable. They're important, more important sometimes than assistant coaches. They're really crucial, and both these squads have great strength and conditioning coaches.
Well, 68-48 the score. St. Louis on top with 4:07 to play here in the second half. We mentioned that they've beaten New Mexico at home. They've beaten Butler at home. Well, the Billikens are on the verge of doing it again. This is the New Mexico game. This is really where they put their stamp on the early part of the season as they won that one. Jim Cruz, his team was outstanding offensively and defensively. And then the energy at this place against Butler, who was number 9 in the country at the time. That was a 75-58 victory. It was a whiteout that night. Tonight it's a Billiken blueout.
Again, 3 great wins and done a great job. It's one of the hottest teams in the country. This should be 8 wins in a row against tremendous competition in the A-10. So you got to give the Billikens a lot of credit. They can go real far in the NCAA tournament. They can do some serious damage.
.407 to play. See the field goal percentage. It's been that good all night for St. Louis. It's been rising for VCU. But the deficit may have been just too much for them to overcome as Theus over in the corner goes out of bounds. So it will remain St. Louis ball.
I think this team can get to the Elite Eight. I think they're that good.
St. Louis?
Yes. Tremendous defense, excellent guard. NCAA tournament is about guard play. These guards can compete with anybody in the country with their experience, quickness.
Now VCU, if and when they get into the tournament, as Evans is called for the offensive foul, they could make some noise as well. We've seen that so many times before. It's going to be an interesting finish and then an interesting postseason as well.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Golden Corral's new sirloin fillets. Cooked just the way you like them. Only at Golden Corral. By LG. Life's good. And by Northwestern Mutual. Proud to be the official financial planning partner of the NCAA.
Well, it's kind of quiet downtown because folks are either at the Blues Sharks game or they're here at St. Louis University to watch SLU hold on to a 20-point lead over VCU. Let's take a look at some of tonight's Avis key stats. If it was a teeter-totter, Pete, well, then St. Louis would be sitting right on the ground at this point.
Yeah, certainly shooting great, 60% from the field. Bench points 32-8 in favor of St. Louis. Doing a great job there. Cody Ellis, 10 points, doing a great job off the bench. And lack of turnovers. St. Louis only 8 turnovers. VCU forces 20 turnovers per game. Jim Cruz done an unbelievable job coaching. I think he should be the head coach of the Billikens. Not interim, the head coach. Immediately.
Well, under 4 minutes to play here in the second half. His team is on top by 20. Here's Theus. He got some separation, and Reddick is there to finish off the missed shot. Reddick now with 17 points. He leads VCU. In fact, he leads all scorers.
A real nice job. We needed that contribution in the first half. He struggled in the first half, but give him credit. He bounced back in the second.
Yeah, it's another double-double for Javante Reddick as McCall and Daniels have to be separated. With 3:32 left to play here in the second half. Technical foul called on Daniels for VCU. I think a technical foul may have been called on Mike McCall as well. So it may be a double technical. And now Bo Borowski, who made the call, It's the second time after the whistle is blown there's been a little extracurricular activity. Take a look here.
A little frustration. Once again, the call didn't want to give up the ball. Daniels wanted it, so a little frustration. Just the heat of the game. Not a big deal.
All right, as this one is pretty much in control for St. Louis, let's take a look at some of the headlines around college basketball. Number 2 Miami looks to extend its ACC streak. They're battling Virginia right now as we speak. It's been a tough ball game. There's no doubt about that. And also around college basketball, the Pac-12 reprimands Mike Montgomery, the head coach of Cal. Now, this is a difficult situation. I mean, it's a heat of the moment kind of thing, but he's been reprimanded for the shove. And then number 1 survives. Boy, that was a heck of a ball game, wasn't it?
Exactly. Great game, and Hoosiers won, but it was a war. It's an exciting time of the year, Tom. In February, it's unbelievable.
How about the Big 12 with Indiana, Michigan State, Michigan? Talk about a postseason tournament.
Big Ten's going to be a great tournament, Tom. It's going to be terrific. And, Wisconsin, Bo Ryan does an unbelievable job, so it should be wonderful.
Kwame Mitchell is caught in a double team, throws it away, and picked up by McCall. Dr. Chaffetz, who is standing up in front of his seat because of that, Kwame Mitchell was able to fall right into his seats. There he is. He's standing as a cheerleader. Now he's going to take a seat. He's got one of the best seats in the house. He's right next to us. Of course he does. You can see the stat monitor. You can see the regular monitors. He can see the replays.
Comes to a lot of home games.
He can telestrate a little bit if he wants to.
Exactly. Yep, he's fired up. He's a big benefactor. That's why his name's on the building. But he loves St. Louis, went here, and lives in Chicago now. But quality guy, and he's really proud of the Billikens.
McCall makes the first free throw. It's back to a 19-point game. Pete, what is this game? What kind of a message does this game send outside of the Atlantic 10?
It shows that St. Louis is certainly a top 25 team in the country. I think even better. I think they're a top 20 team and very dangerous. Now, they still have some big hills to climb. Got to go to Butler on Friday. Tough game. Got to go to Xavier. A tough game. So
they have St. Joseph's here as well. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Bill Martelli's a great coach. And we'll have them ready. So they have some tough games to go. But right now, they're certainly the favorite in the A-10.
Well, the way the show they put on here tonight, at least for a few days, I think folks are going to definitely think that. But the way the A-10 has gone, on any night, things can change. That's what's making it such a great conference.
The A-10 is better than so-called some of the big 6 conferences.
All right, so let's eye-file St. Louis's upcoming schedule. That's what we were talking about. Butler, St. Joseph's, at Xavier, against LaSalle here.
All tough games. GW, that's a dangerous game. Mike Lonigan's done an excellent job with a young team, but they're dangerous. Almost beat Temple. They had some good wins at home, so tough game. St. Joe's, the preseason favorite of the A-10. Xavier at home. At Xavier's a tough game. LaSalle has tremendous guards, so every game's a battle for St. Louis. I think Coach Cruz will have them ready. Been around a long time, won a lot of games. Played for Coach Bob Knight. Was on that national championship team that was undefeated way back in '76. So he knows about winning. He knows about coaching. He's also a very good player.
Melvin Johnson checks back in. Jordair Jet, by the way, makes both of his free throws and now has 16 points to lead the Billikens. All 16 in the second half. Here's Theus, the handoff to Graham. And Reddick again with the putback. One thing we really haven't pointed out is how well they've played defensively against Graham. He's 4 for 16 now from the floor. He does have 11 points, but they've been able to handle him.
Defended very well. Stayed in front of him. They take tough shots.
Here's Jet again. He can't get the kiss. The second and third shot by St. Louis results in a three-point play.
Tremendous hustle by Dwayne Evans. Really tough in the paint. Tremendous offensive rebound. Jet goes in there strong. No call. He's up again. Evans again, leading scorer for the Billikens. Doesn't shoot many outside shots, but from the foul line in, he's tremendous. He posts up, he drives, and he's tremendous offensive rebound.
The call back in, low out. Evans to the line. Evans with 14 points. 4 different scores, Pete, in double digits for St. Louis.
Great balance attack. What do you think about the Billikens? How good could they be? You know the A-10 well. What's your thoughts?
I think what sets them aside from everyone else, obviously the way they play offense, the way they play defense, but the fact they have 3 legitimate starters that come off the bench that are seasoned. And I think that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for the A-10 tournament. But I also think that once Jim Cruz's team gets into the NCAA tournament, that depth will pay dividends for them.
Tremendous experience and good guard play. That's the key in the NCAA tournament. They have great guard play right now. And experience and quickness. The big guys can shoot it, so they're a handful. Play with anybody in the country.
Now, with that said, the 4 or 5 teams from the A-10 that get into the NCAA tournament, I think all 4 or 5 can go, I don't want to say to the Final Four, they possibly can, but they can go deep into the tournament.
Definitely.
And then you include the NIT, you could see an A-10 team in the Final Four of the NIT.
Yeah, no, it's a great league. It's always been a terrific league. This year, it's a cut above. It's tremendous, and I think it's better than some of the Big Six leagues, some of the so-called power conference. A-10's better than them from top to bottom.
.150 to play. It's just a matter of time right now and a matter of the final score. Don't forget Inside College basketball coming up right after this game. Adam Zucker, Wally Zerbiak, Mateen Cleaves, and Gary Parrish. We'll talk about this game and everything else that's gone on around the college basketball. Kind of winding down the regular season all around college basketball. With the shot clock at 10. Here's Jet along the baseline. Lost control. Ellis for 3. No good. It rimmed out. It rolled around 2 or 3 times. And now the steal by Evans. Well, St. Louis has just been relentless. He is called for the foul. A foul on Theus the 4th. Let's take a look at the eye file on VCU, and just as we said about St. Louis, it's not going to get easy for VCU either. Look at the way that regular season finishes up.
That's murder also. At Xavier's a very tough game. Butler is a tremendous team. Richmond beat him the first time at Temple. Fran Duffy's a fabulous coach, and they're a good team. So every game in the A-10 down the stretch is really, really tough.
So Mitchell to the line. And he makes the first. 75-56. St. Louis allows on average 57.8 points per game. We said something had to give. Well, their defense didn't give at all. They're right around that number.
Well, tremendous defense and excellent guard play, hustle, preparation. The fans were fabulous. Everything went right for St. Louis tonight.
Mitchell makes both free throws. It's a 20-point game with 1:05 to play here in the second half. Everybody wearing blue tonight on their feet here at Chaifetz Arena. Johnson launches the 3. It's good. It's a 17-point game. VCU continues to press. Mitchell breaks it. Mitchell and McCall, along with Jordan Jett, have handled this press tonight.
Biggest win in the history of Chaifetz Arena. Opened in 2008. Knocked off a top 25 team. They're in first place now. They have tremendous momentum.
Mitchell launches off the front of the rim. VCU with the rebound. The last 12 seconds will tick off the clock. Well, they are still relentless. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Johnson gets the 3 to go down. 1.8 to play. Mitchell holds it on the baseline. Ellis with it in his hands. And St. Louis takes over first place in the Atlantic 10 with an exclamation point of a win over VCU, 76-62. Well, Jim Cruz's team prepared for the havoc that VCU can put forth, and they answered every single play. Time now for the Napa play of the game, and there were a number of them that we could choose from.
Here we see Cody Ellis, who's a great offensive player. Now tremendous defense. He denies the ball. He attacks the cup. Nice finish in the lane. He's all pumped up. The motion. There's another angle. Great job by Cody Ellis. Great job by the Billikens.
The updated standings in the Atlantic 10, as we mentioned, St. Louis in first place, sole possession over VCU and Butler. LaSalle, meanwhile, at 8-3. What a game tonight for St. Louis. Their 20th victory of the season, and it was a commanding one, 76-62 over VCU. So now for Pete Gillen and our entire crew, I'm Tom McCarthy. What an atmosphere in the Atlantic 10. What an atmosphere here at Chaifetz Arena. The St. Louis Billikens with an impressive victory over VCU by a final of 76-62. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. This has been a presentation